19th? Friday, the date. What is it, 19th? It's the 19th. We have blessers who are not here yet, so I'm going to stall for 1 second and tell you one of my stories. Shabbat shalom, everybody. I missed you last week. I truly did. And especially because one of my favorite Torah portions was last week, and I feel like I keep not getting to talk about it, so I'll talk about it a little bit later. But before we start the service, I have 2 things I need to do. One is the sky. Do you know what's happening in the sky this week? There's something really cool this weekend. So 2 things happen. We'll have a full moon, which in Jewish tradition means, where are we in the month? The middle of the month. So apparently, for some reason, they're making Saturday night be a National Watch the Moon night or something. I don't remember what it's called officially. But we're probably not going to see much tomorrow night because it's probably going to be overcast or rainy or something. But the full moon is actually this coming week. Is coming on Wednesday. But this month, I was going to share these details that I found about the moon this month because it's important, I think. I think it lends to what I wanted to talk to you about. This month's full moon was given 3 different names by Native American tribes. The travel moon, the hunter's moon, and the dying grass moon. We also get the moons blood moon and sanguine moon because of what it's going to look like when we see it. All of these names are connected to the time of year when pre-winter hunting and finding somewhere to shelter in the cold winter months was of paramount importance. So the thing that I kept telling over and over, one of my favorite jokes this year was that in Shreveport, the autumn is just like summer, but with more pumpkins. It's not true anymore. We actually had some chilly weather. Some people are wearing some warm things now, and pumpkins. So that's okay. But it's important to see what's happening in the world and why that moon is going to be important. It says the full moon is October 24th. The full moon happens at 12:45 p.m. And if you're paying attention, 12:45 p.m. is in the middle of the day. You're not going to see the full moon, but you'll get to see a whole bunch of moons. It says you have 2 chances to get to a great view of the full moon. The full moon is special because it's the only night of the month when the moon is in the sky all night long. Have you thought about that before? Every time it comes around again, I'm like, wait a second, hey, all right. However, as soon as it's high in the sky, it says it's too bright to look at, but you can try sunglasses at night. And you thought that all those people who are wearing sunglasses at night were just cool or crying or I don't know what. But apparently they were trying to look at the moon. It says, or you can view the travel moon when it's a pale orange color on the eastern horizon at dusk. So look east at dusk, which is going to be about 5:30, 6:30 p.m. on October 24th, and you'll see it mostly lit. On Thursday, it'll be about 99.5% illuminated around the same time. It says this time rising in the east, around 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. for us, just after dusk. Try to get up somewhere reasonably high where you can see the eastern horizon for the best view, so you have to go someplace far away from Shreveport. I'm just saying. The next full moon is Friday, November 23rd. It's known in North America as, believe it or not, the frost moon, because supposedly we're going to see dropping temperatures. And anyway, we'll talk about that. The exciting moon to watch for is January 20th of 2019, because we will have a total lunar eclipse across North and South America. It's going to be dramatic copper, orange, red color for just over an hour. It's one of the most dramatic things that's going to happen this millennium. Just watch it. But this weekend, we're also going to have the Orionid meteor shower this weekend. And one of the things, so we know that it has to do with the comet Halley, it's called here, one of the most famous. But one of the things that I liked about it that's appropriate for reading about it this weekend, it says that comets are the most primitive members of our solar system, created at the same time as the sun and the planets, which meant the fourth day, right? Anyway, approximately 4.6 billion years ago. Yet, while everything else has been constantly evolving, comets have essentially remained the same, and therefore contain important clues about the origins of the solar system. The reason for comets' unchanged nature is that they spend most of their time roaming in the deep freeze of space, far beyond the outer planets. There, the temperature hovers. Remember what we said, it's not chilly here because it hovers a fraction of a degree above absolute zero, which is minus 459.67 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not nearly as big a number in Celsius, so I'm not going to tell you that number, but no, it's still pretty big. In those icy realms, no chemical reactions occur, so the comets remain as they were at the beginning of the creation of the solar system. That's appropriate. We're at the beginning of Genesis, and I thought that that would be cool to think about, that there are lessons to be learned, but watch for them. You can see long trails and things, especially overnight, especially just before dawn again over this weekend. Now, all of that's going to be important because some things stay the same and some things change about even those things, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. And I also want to talk about the letter of the week. And I forgot to bring my big one. Where's my Von White thing? This is my big one. So this letter, the red one, is the tallest letter of the alphabet. There's even an, let's see if I can do this, an L above the line. It's the only one that goes above the line. And that letter is the letter Lamed. It sounds like L. And this letter is the one that got me into trouble in Israel, because when I said shalom to somebody, you know this one, you know the shalom. When I said shalom to somebody, I was wearing only Israeli clothes. I was feeling so cool. And all I said to this guy was shalom. And he said, At Amerikait? You're an American? I'm like, how did you know? I've been working on my accent my whole life. And he said, it's my lamed. I'm like, what are you talking about, my lamed? I've been practicing my resh. I can say resh. And he said, no, it's your lamed. Because in America, we take the tongue and we splat it up against the roof of our mouth like this. But in Israel, it's like daintier. You take the tip of your tongue and you put it behind your teeth like this. Can you hear the difference between and He could, and I was humiliated forever. That was 40 years ago today, just about, and I still am humiliated. You know the word shalom. Shalom, it means hello and goodbye and peace. Shalom. The Torah portion this week has 2 lameds in it, the Torah portion, and you have actually the first 2 words of the Torah portion are lech lecha. So you have the ch at the end of each one of these, and that goes below the line, and this goes above the line. And I think that just looking at that, the fact that we are facing this way, we're going forward, and one goes above the line and one goes below the line, I think that there are secrets to be revealed in that. Most of the time it's translated as go forth. We'll talk about those secrets tomorrow. That's my commercial for tomorrow. Lech lecha is the name of the Torah portion. It's the command that God gave to Abraham to say, go forth, go, leave your ancestral home, the place where you were born, the place that you love, and go forth. And history was changed. We'll talk about that a little bit. Lech lecha. The lecha means for yourself, so I wrote here, go for yourself. Lech lecha. And I'll leave this here so that you can look at this. The shalom, the lech lecha. Cover these up. Some of you are learning an awful lot of Hebrew, and I'm very proud of you. And some of you are looking really good at learning Hebrew, and I'm very proud of you too. We are going to begin our service on page 83, 82. We are, wait, you know what we have to do? Some of us only had 2 days of school. Some of us had a really busy week. Whatever it is that we did, we need a deep breath now. Everybody take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Try again. Let it out slowly. Somebody's phone is going off, but it's very quiet. It's very quiet. It sounds like snoring, so it's okay. It's the other ones that are not so good. Somebody's already sleeping. That's what it sounds like. We are turning to page 82, and as is our tradition, we rise, and I call the Smet family up to please lead us in our blessings. Everyone can help with this.
Right here?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're at the candles. First, we do what's on page 82 at the top of the page.
Are we reading?
Go ahead. Yeah, go for it. In English. Yeah, do English first.
These lights are only flickering flames, yet flames illuminate our uncertain steps. Flames remind us of Shabbats long past and of their beauty that delighted our hearts. May they inspire us to work for the great Shabbat of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav etzivanu, lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. You want to lead us in the English too?
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us with your mitzvot and command us to kindle the Shabbat lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And now we continue for the Kiddush. Are you doing that all in Hebrew or in Hebrew and English? Whatever you want.
You start us off.
Okay, so we turn to page 165. I was going to do, did you see how they did that? This is how we do it. That's what I was going to do. Page 165. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Ready? Okay. Who's going to be doing the lifting? Who does the heavy lifting? Are you doing the lifting? I knew you could do this. Ready? Lift that up. Don't drink it until we finish. Ready? Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pori hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila l'mikrah kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Drink it. You can share if there's any left. You're welcome to be seated if you say Shabbat Shalom to somebody you came in with, Shabbat Shalom to somebody you didn't come in with. Shabbat Shalom, thank you. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, thank you. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. What? Did you, what? What happened to your book?
It's gone.
Here's one. I got one for you.
Mom, did you take his book? Yeah.
She's got it. Oh, never mind. Now you have twice as many. It reminded me there was a sermon that I always want to use that I never do because, you know, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, I'm not allowed to talk about food. But there's the one about holding up a glass of water, let's say. And if you hold it for a moment, it's no big deal. There's not a lot in there. But you hold it for just a few moments, and it starts to feel like it's getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And he just proved it, and I should have done that sermon tonight. That would have been really fun. That would have been way more fun than, wait till you see what I got for you today. All right. We're going to continue as we welcome the angels that accompany us on page 84 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. songs because I don't know how to play them on the piano. That
More
was
than
awesome.
I played.
That was really that's hard to believe. That was hard to believe. You needed more than 10 fingers for that one. The synagogue is the sanctuary of Israel. Born of our longing for the living God, it has been to Israel throughout our wanderings a visible token of the presence of God in our people's midst. Its beauty is the beauty of holiness. Steadfast, it has stood as the champion of justice, mercy, and peace.
Its truths are true for all people.
Its
love is a love for all people. Its God is the God of all people. As it has been said, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people.
Let all the family of Israel, all who hunger for righteousness, all who seek the eternal, find God here, and here find life. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach chiruteh, ve'amlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayed chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, ba'agala, u'vizman kariv v'meru. Amen. Yeheshme Rabba mevarach, le'alam u'almei almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpahar, v'yitromam, v'yinaseh, v'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yit'halal, shemeh dekudisha, brichu, le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'meru, amen. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Oh God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You're as close to us as breathing, yet you are farther than the farthermost star. You are as mysterious as the vast solitudes of night, yet as familiar to us as the light of the sun. To Moses you said, you cannot see my face, but I will make all my goodness pass before you. Even so does your goodness pass before us in the realm of nature and in the joys and sorrows of life.
Justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when to the last full measure of selfless devotion, we demonstrate our belief in the triumph of truth and righteousness. Then your goodness enters our lives and begin to change the world in our hearts, and we through righteousness behold your presence. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
If you're in my Bet Hebrew class and you'd like to come up and help me, I invite you to please come up. We will chant together on page 88. Do we need this? Want this?
I think so.
Okay, I don't think so either. Come on, climb in front and do that for us.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך
ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני Adonai Elohim.
Adonai Elohim. And you can keep reading in English if you wouldn't mind. Please read us in English.
You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourself to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God.
Awesome, thank you. I, the Eternal One, have called you to righteousness and taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations. Witness to the covenant
between God and God's children.
This is the covenant I make with Israel. I will place my Torah in your midst and write it upon your hearts. I will be your God, and you shall be my people.
We are Israel. Our Torah forbids the worship of race or nation, possessions or power.
You who worship gods that cannot save you, hear the words of the Eternal One. I am God, there is none else.
We are Israel. Our prophets proclaimed an exalted vision for the world.
Hate evil and love what is good. Let justice well up as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream.
We are Israel, schooled in the suffering of the oppressed.
You shall not oppress your neighbors nor rob them. You shall not stand idle while your neighbor bleeds.
We are Israel, taught to beat swords into plowshares, commanded to pursue peace.
Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, desolation and destruction within your borders. All your children will be taught of your God, and great shall be the peace of your children.
We are Israel, O God, when we are witnesses to your love and messengers of your truth.
You are my witnesses, says the Eternal One, and my servant whom I have chosen. Know me, therefore, and put your trust in me.
Israel, O God, when we proclaim you God, a Redeemer, as did our ancestors.
And it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. O God, spread over us your shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, and bless us with rest. And let a time come when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish, a time of happiness, of contentment and rest. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. We give thanks for the night and its rest and the promise of peace for all the world. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. Please rise for the tefillah, which begins on page 93. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chaste Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, L'ma'an Shmo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. God of all generations, of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, be praised. Your wondrous creative power fills heaven and earth.
God of life and death, be praised. Through us send help to the falling, healing to the sick, freedom to the captive. Confirm your faithfulness to those who sleep in the dust.
Awesome and holy God, be praised. With acts of love and truth, we hallow your name. As it is said, be holy, for I, your eternal God, am holy.
God of times and seasons, be praised. Enable us through Sabbath rest to explore and learn and impart the meanings of your Torah. Make our hearts ready to serve you this day and all days.
God, who answers prayer, be praised. May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God. Source of life and its wonders, be praised.
You are the miracle within all we behold.
You are goodness. You are compassion. We give thanks to you forever.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech ha'olam lekol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adom lekol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha
take a moment for the prayers that are in our hearts as we take a moment of silence. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עושה שלום במרומיו. Causes peace to reign in the high heavens, cause peace to reign on us, on all the world and Israel. And we say amen.
Amen.
At this time in our service, our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating. We turn to the inside back cover, and for a moment I turn off my microphone as we read off the names for the people for whom we are praying for healing. If you have other names you would like to call out and have us include with our prayers, I invite you to call them. Yogi. For all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts and not say out loud, we pray together. O God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. And we add, Misheberach avotenu v'imotenu, may the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we have entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us in this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they've been called to serve. And give them courage to succeed and strength to persevere. May they return home safely, and let us say, Amen. So I love reading the stories in the book of Genesis and Bereshit because they're stories and they're kind of fun. And we've been hearing them all of our lives. So a lot of times these are the ones that are most familiar, and many times these are the ones that we still use as to continue this metaphor about what's going on in the skies. These are our guiding lights in a lot of ways. We learn our lessons from these stories better than we do many other parts of the Torah. But I'm going to suggest another model. I'm going to suggest that we get a lot of mixed messages from these stories. So I'm sad that I wasn't here, although I know that Rabbi Kermit was well represented last week, and I love the sermon that Barbara gave. I like having these online so that I could watch them too. And the stories about the rainbow, I said to her that I felt like it was one of those Wizard of Oz moments, that everything was in black and white until that rainbow moment, and then everything got to be colorful. And in some ways, it's a little bit like what happens in the Tower of Babel story that happens at the end of the story. As you know, at the end of the Noah chapter, that's one of my favorite Torah portions because it's short and it's sweet, and I'm not sure what the point is. Most people think that it's what I call the Yertle the turtle story, where the people were trying to build a tower and that God said, oh no, the people are building a tower that's so high that I don't think God was worried about the tower at all. I think that the people were working together. Some scholars say they were too selfish, whatever. I think God told us to spread out to all the corners of the world. We were sticking together in this one spot, and then God zapped us by having to speak different languages, and we each went into our own corner of the world. And that's a wonderful story. Because when my doctoral degree is in linguistics, I love studying about languages, but when I hear that story, I don't know if what we're supposed to learn from it is why there are so many languages, which is a wonderful thing that we have lots of languages, or are we supposed to feel like it was a punishment that we had lots of languages? I haven't figured out if God wants us to bridge the gap between the languages or if we're supposed to stay in our own little corners. I always thought we're supposed to bridge the gaps. And so I think we're getting mixed messages. This week, we get to hear about Abraham. It's a wonderful story. You know the story because it's one we've grown up with. We have Avram, and Avram smashes idols, and Avram learns about the stars in the sky and thinks that there's only one God and the father of ethical monotheism. We know all that. God says, Lech lecha, go to the place that I'm going to show you. Go, leave your father's home, leave the land where you were born, leave your home and go. And we know that we have faith that God is going to lead us on the right path because of this Torah portion. But what do we do with that information? Do we leave our father's home? Do we try to stay as far away from our birthplace as we possibly can? Is that the goal of all of us? I'm not convinced that that's the goal. Sometimes that works, and sometimes that doesn't work. And I think that's a mixed message. I'm not sure if the leave your roots is the best message. I get it why Abraham had to leave his roots. There was paganism, there was idol worship. I get why he left that. But sometimes people leave and make huge marks on the world, like Abraham did. And sometimes they stay where they are, and they make huge marks on the rest of history. And sometimes people, sometimes when you're Abraham, and you leave, and God is sending you on this journey, and you get to another country, and you look at your wife who's already in her 90s, and you say, you know, Sarah, you are so gorgeous that the king here is going to want to kill me so he can get to you. She's 90-something years old. A lesson we learn is your wife is still gorgeous at 90 years old. I love that about Abraham. But then the next move is he says, you know what, let's tell the king that you're my sister so he doesn't kill me. Wait a second. What lesson are we supposed to learn from Abraham there? Mixed messages. I think that the lesson we learn is we don't always know what lesson we're supposed to learn from that. You have to ask Abraham why he did that. You have to ask God why it was a good idea. Because we have an obligation to make our own decisions based on the information we have at that moment. Is our best option to leave the land that we were born, you know, Brooklyn? Are we supposed to have left that place and come to the land that God showed us, Shreveport? And is that where we make our mark? Or are we supposed to raise our children in Shreveport and never let them leave here because that's the best way for them to make their mark? And I don't know that I can get my lesson from the Lech Lecha moment that Abraham had. And so I have always felt confident about the lessons in the Torah. But now that I'm looking at it again from other eyes, I feel like it's mixed messages sometimes. I think that the point that we're supposed to learn is that we look for our inspiration. We hold on to our roots, we listen to these stories, and we gain as much as we can from them, and then we are tasked with having to make our own decisions. We are tasked with having to go forth every day from the bed we were not born in, the bed that we were so comfy in, and figure out what we're going to do with our life starting at that moment, that the choices are ours to make. And then if you want to feel confident about it, it's a hard thing to do because you get a moment like Lech Lecha, sounds so powerful. Go forward, go. But it's not, even those two words that are my favorite words are still not as clear as we'd like. I think we get mixed messages, and between me and you, that's one of my favorite parts about being Jewish. I love that every year when we come upon these Torah portions again, we get a new message. Every time I look at it, I hear something new. Sometimes I hear something old, and I feel comforted by it, and sometimes I hear something new, and I feel horrified by it, and every time I look at it, I feel like it's talking to me again. I love that. So take your messages, go forth, speak new languages, break new barriers, or not, or make new bridges. Mr. President, tell us what our new and old information is. And you have that right here. And if you want your show and tell, I have them here.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you to the Smet family for blessings. Special welcome to Kessler, our education fellow from the Institute of Southern Jewish Life. She will be at Agudath Hakim tomorrow morning.
Wave to Kessler.
There's
Hey,
Kessler in the back.
Welcome back.
And she will also be here Sunday for religious school, working with the students and teachers. You can watch a movie this Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. in the sanctuary. The movie Afterlife is a sweet story that explores a creative version of what happens after people die. It is very thought-provoking and gentle. It is in Japanese with English subtitles. The movie will be in the sanctuary, and there will be time for discussion following the movie.
Arigato.
The North Louisiana Jewish Federation film series continues this Sunday,
No, this Wednesday.
October 24th.
This Wednesday, sorry. Did I say Sunday? It's Wednesday.
Yes.
Sorry, Wednesday.
With the movie 93 Queen. Follows a group of tenacious Hasidic women who create the first all-female volunteer ambulance corps in New York City. The movie will begin at 5:30 p.m. A panel discussion following the movie will include Rabbi Jana and Bethany, and other local women who have broken barriers and taken on roles previously only performed by men. I have to add one thing here. We've had budget meetings a couple of times in the last, and I just wanted Adam to know that during the budget meeting, the one thing that there was never any, we were so happy that last year we added, even though we didn't know that we were going to be able to make it happen, we added money because we all wanted music back in our sanctuary. And it was the easiest item to make sure that we had in this. So again, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here and with us.
Indeed.
Rabbi Jana will lead a discussion on Wednesday, October 31st, about ethical dilemmas from a Jewish perspective at the Tower of the Oaks. It will be from 2 to 3 p.m.
I was so afraid you were going to say Tower of Babel. I was really afraid you were going there. Phew.
And there will be a blood drive, B'nai Zion, 9 o'clock to 1 p.m. on Sunday, November 4th. Contact Helene Bronig if you can donate, and she will set a specific time. Please mark your calendars. We are having a special event on Saturday, November 24th, to honor Helene Bronig for her 38 years of service to the temple, to the religious school, and to many other roles that she has followed. This is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Even though I know some of you may be out of town, we picked that Saturday because Helene wanted her family to be here, and many of her children are coming in town. So we hope y'all will join us. Donations were made to B'nai Zion for public flowers in loving memory of Martin J. Lewis by the Lewis and McGovern families, and in loving memory of Leonard Phillips by the Kallenberg and Phillips families. Okay. Thank you very much.
I think all of Helene's children and grandchildren will be here that Saturday. Isn't that the plan? Yeah, she picked that because everyone's going to be here. And hopefully you got your invitation already in the mail. And if you did not, let us know. We've got extra copies. Exciting things going on. Now I would like to invite everyone who is under the age of 13 to please come up and help us open the ark as we turn to page 148 and get ready for the Aleinu. Dum-dee-dum-dee-dum. When the ark is open, please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol lateit gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu kegoye haratzot velo samanu kemishpachot adam shelo sam chelkeinu kahen v'golenu kechol hamon is closed. When the ark is closed, you may be seated. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We continue on page 151. Included in our hearts and our prayers is thoughts for the military we've lost this year. We have lost 23 people in the military, and I hesitate about that number because I heard of more this week, and I don't know why they're not included in the list that we have. We've lost 118 police officers this year, including 23 canine no, not including. And in addition, we've lost 23 canine officers. And we've lost 72 firefighters this year. May we be forever grateful for those. Yeah, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Wow, that was pretty good, the timing. May we be forever grateful for those people who run into dangerous situations to keep us safe. May their families be consoled. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. And I want to add the people who lost their lives because of the hurricane. I pray that the numbers stop, because it feels like the numbers keep going. And it's one of the things that I've thought about. We've all thought about every day. We have warm home, we have a cold home, we have a home. And we walk around and we had puddles, and we drove in these puddles, and it was nothing compared to what they had. And we pray for all of the people who lost their homes, and for all of the people who lost their lives, the families. It's devastation that is. I hope that we're not just praying, but for tonight we'll be praying. I would like us to take a moment of silence to remember those people for whom we need to pray. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. We're still remembering Joe Batt Sr., Joe Batt II, who's we're still in his Shloshim period. And we remember the congregants' parents who died within the past year. We remember Sarah David and Flo Selber, Gloria Meyer, Richard Stewart, and Clifford Bayer. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing your sites this week include Louis Abramson Jr., Asher C. Bronig, Mrs. Isaac Ebersfield, Jenny Fox, Raya Greenberg, Albert Katzenstein, Philip Levy, Martin J. Lewis, Charles Lipson, Flora Loeb, Max Maritsky, Leonard Phillips, Charlene Udis Richstone, Leo Schlinsky, Mrs. L. Samuel Siegel, Max Toys, Jake Vedlitz, and Ellen Hyman Saltzwell. At this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayei chon u'v'yomei chon, u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv, v'imru amen. Yeheh shemei rabba mevarach la'alam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadal v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei d'kudsha richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yeheh shalama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'maramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. Please be seated. I'm going to invite everyone up who is under the age of, actually, you know what, and Kessler too. Everybody under the age of 13 and Kessler to come up and help us. Come on in front. You got it? Hold on underneath. You got the bottom? Got it. Ready? Go ahead, lead us.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
I get the plate, you get the bread. Go. Grab. Everybody gets some. Make sure everybody gets some. Everybody gets some. There's more for grown-ups out there. As you know. This comes this way. Please rise for the closing benediction. It is not a mixed message. It is a blessing for us to be here together. I'm not going to say it's a mixed blessing. It's a mixed multitude. We have a mixture of all kinds of people, and each week it's a different mixture, and I love this. And it is a blessing at all times. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face always be lifted up to you. May God grant you peace, Shabbat, and shalom. Shalom.